Hello and welcome to the Bowling University studio from the International Bowling Campus in Arlington, Texas. Welcome to the Profit Break. If you're joining us for the first time, we're glad you're here. Give us 15 minutes and you'll be well on your way to improving yourself and your profitability. Well, we know that it's the games that make the arcade experience, but look past the bright lights and the excitement, and you'll find there are many different types of games that, when properly selected, provide the best experience for your guests. If you're considering making the move to add a game room or are looking to improve the game room experience in your center, there are some crucial decisions that you'll need to make in order to maximize your profitability and that experience. On today's episode, we're going to discuss the different types of games available and how each type contributes to the overall experience tailored to your guest. So before we dive into the games, let's talk a little bit about what we call the games universe. Okay, there's really four basic things that you're going to make sure you need to understand and have systems in place so that you can provide that great experience. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is the games. The game selection seems simple, but there's a lot of science that goes into it as well as an art. Okay, so we're going to talk about that today, and then in future episodes we're going to talk about three other metrics that are really key, that are important. That is point value for your games, and then we're also going to talk about a payout percentage with redemption and cost of goods. Those four things together are really key elements for you to provide a great guest experience and to make sure that you're making a good profit. Okay, so let's dive right into the games. Our industry, our traditional model of bowling centers has really evolved over the last few years, and it's moving towards an entertainment model of recreation. So bowling often remains that anchor, but it's not as big of a footprint. A lot of locations might take some lanes out and they'll replace it with another element. Some places add on and they keep their games. So bowling is remaining that anchor, excuse me, but now we're starting to add different attractions around that. And some of the attractions are, first of all, the games like we're talking about in the game room. That's certainly an attraction, but we're diversifying those attractions: laser tag, escape rooms, things of that nature, rope climbing, but enhanced food and beverage is also part of that experience. So we're really starting to move that way towards upscaling the entertainment model with bowling at its anchor. Okay, so when we do this, what's going to happen is we're going to appeal to a wider audience. You can get corporate groups, family groups come in, and so on. So that appeals to a much broader audience because we have more to offer. And that also increases the length of stay. There's more things for your guests to enjoy, spend their money on, have a good time, and come back again. So it really is a great model to move towards. The whole idea is you're going to create that profitable space around your guests. So you have to know, and I'll say it over and over again today, who is your guest? Who is that target guest? And what you do, if you notice on our model, the center of it is your guest. So everything evolves around that guest and what their needs are and what their wants are. That should drive your decisions. That's how they're going to have a good time, and that's how you're going to be profitable. So they're going to determine that design. Okay, you have a fixed space to work with, understood, but within that space, they're going to determine the design, the games, and the prize selection. They all have to meet the needs of your guests, and they all work together. Okay? So bottom line is, first step is you have to know your guest. Who are you targeting? What are you putting in that game room? Who are you trying to entice to come to your location? Okay, so let's look at what's in the game room. At the heart of any game room, a larger game room, and by large I mean 25, 30 and up, are the redemption games. Okay, that's what drives the revenue in an arcade. The redemption is going to really be the main driver of that game room. Okay, so within that, though, a redemption game just isn't a redemption game. Within that, there are different categories. But as a whole, they typically will make up about 65 to 75% of the games in that location, on average. Okay, and the level set here, we all know redemption are types of games that are going to give you a reward back. So your guests play the games, and they're rewarded or awarded with points or tickets. I'll say points mostly today because most of us are on ticket machine. Okay, I'm losing the word right now, but most of us are using points with cards instead of the old-fashioned ticket. So points are what I'll be using most of today. So that's what they're going to use. They're going to get points from the card system to redeem prizes. So the subcategory of redemption games, that's going to determine the payout and the pricing strategy. Okay, those come next after you set the point value. But it's important to understand what are those types of games. So let's dig a little bit into that. So what's going to happen is when you understand the different subtypes, you have to make sure that you think about, you incorporate entertainment value versus reward value. We're going to go into that in depth in other profit breaks, and also you'll find it on on-demand training. But essentially what entertainment value versus reward value is, the longer it takes to play a game, that means that it offers greater entertainment value. So think about a skee ball. You're playing skee ball, it takes a while to play that, so the entertainment value there is higher. Inverse of that is you don't get as many points. So think about when you play skee ball. You don't nearly win as many points on that as you would at some of the other games. So longer play time, less points. Okay. Shorter play time, so the entertainment value is considered less, because some of these games, you know, you're like Big Bass Wheel, you're pulling that wheel and it's over in a matter of seconds. So the entertainment value isn't the driver there. The rewards are what's driving play there. So that's a high reward value. So you're going to get more points for that. That's the difference between the different categories of games. So what are those categories? So within that, you're going to have the longer play games that we talked about that have the higher entertainment value, like skee ball, some of the sports games. You're taking your time playing those. They do not give you as many tickets. Okay, high entertainment, low rewards. Crucial concept to remember. There are other games like pushers. Okay, pushers are great games. Adults love to play them. That's where there's tokens or something on the field, and you're trying to drive those off, and you win points that way. Great way to increase length of stay for pushers is put chairs in front of those and let your guests sit there. Have a table for their drinks. Okay, so adults, again, love those types of games. You really get them to stay in there longer. Those are kind of middle of the road with entertainment value. You tend to play those longer over and over again. That's what you're trying to increase that with the chair. Okay, but those are also pretty high in reward value too. Great games, very profitable. Another one is the video redemption. Those are often updated redemption games like Space Invaders that are classic games, but they turned into redemption. The play value tends to be, or the entertainment value tends to be a little bit higher there. The reward value is a little higher than skee ball and such. They typically cost more to play, and that's, so again, another middle of the road one. Then you've got the short play, quick play games like Big Bass Wheel, and just as the name infers, that's exactly what they are. They're over in a heartbeat. They typically cost more to play, but as a reward for playing that game, you're going to get more points. Okay, so you're enticing them with the points where the reward value is high. And keep in mind, all of this revolves around the prizes that you're going to offer. So not only do you have to offer great games that meet your guests' need, but you have to have the prizes that meet their needs, because the prizes are going to drive the play in the redemption room. Okay, I want that prize. I'm going to earn some points. Okay, then we have the wow games, I like to call them. Those are games that are the centerpieces, like Monster Drop Deluxe. They're big, they're huge, they're beautiful, they're bright, they're colorful, they're also expensive. And those typically often are over quickly, so that would tend to be a higher per play price for that. You also would tend to get a higher reward value because they are over quickly. These are centerpiece games in your arcade. The other pieces that make up the remaining 25–30% are video. Okay, it's a mainstay in every one. A lot of it, when you talk about being competitive and cooperative play, drivers are great. People want to compete against each other to have a good time, but you don't get any tickets for it. Okay, and then there's some VR games, and VR is becoming bigger and bigger in our game space, but some of the great ones now are like Virtua Rabbids or Kong. Those are made great inroads. They're very profitable games. Those are considered, they're not redemption. Some of them can be redemption, and they would fall into the redemption category. Cranes are another one. Cranes are low cost to purchase. Cranes themselves, you've got a claw, you're picking up a prize. The picture you see here is a monster crane, so there's actually big prizes that are in there. Lower cost prizes, repeat play. It's great to have your logo on some of these things so people can walk around. You want them to win. Winners make players. You want them to win. They walk around with their prize with your logo on it. But cranes are a mainstay. Cranes last a long time. Over time, they are among the most profitable pieces in your arcade. So that is, when they're done right, when they're displayed right, like retail, they're priced right, very profitable. The other version of cranes would be merchandisers, typically offering higher end prizes, also very profitable, but it's the higher end prize, so it's higher cost per play as well. Okay? There's another category of equipment that doesn't earn any revenue. And if you have a larger arcade, then you should have a card system. There's a lot of great card systems out there. Do your research, do your homework. These don't take in any revenue, but they impact the experience. You're able to market. Okay, they impact your inventory, how you're doing it, and they really drive profitability and security. So card systems, if you don't have one and you have a decent-sized game room, you should truly consider that. They are relatively expensive, but they will save you more in cost and drive revenue through that game room. Great asset, and there's a lot of great ones that are out there. Okay, so each type of these games are going to contribute to that overall guest experience. So that's why it's important to know who your guest is, so you'll know what they like and what it takes to keep them in there. And then you'll be able to decide what types of games you want to have. Okay, so the last part of it is, once you've done that, is how do you price them? There's a lot of things that go into pricing it. It's not just as simple as simply visiting the competition and mirroring them, but you do have to survey the competition and see what they have. Okay, because you want to be competitive. And in other episodes, we're going to talk about how you can remain competitive and how it may look different if you price things in a different way. But for today, bottom line is, make sure you know your guest. Who's your guest? Because that's going to drive everything. Know what your targets are. You need to have targets for your revenues, targets for your costs, targets for your payouts, and so on. And then when you do survey the competition, how do they compare? I like to know what they're doing really great. I don't care what they're doing bad at. I want to know what they're doing really great. And why do people go there? Because I want to be better. So know those things. Who's their guest? What's it like? What's their game selection like? And so on. Okay, what's their pricing structure? And when you do that inventory of games that they have, then you can come up with your own that's going to drive who that target guest is for you. Again, your prize selection is going to have to mirror those games. And it's important, if you have adult games in there, that you have adult prizes. Okay, and then absolutely you're going to look at that service level and overall experience. So there's a lot to go into that game selection. This is purely scratching the surface. So next time you go into a game room, take a walk around, look at those different games that are in there. Or if you have your own right now, take a look at what you have and see if those pieces complement each other and drive enough traffic and revenue through there. Okay, so if you want to know more about today's topic and take a deeper dive into it, check out the game room courses in the on-demand online training program at thebowlinguniversity.net. Plus, the courses have some helpful templates in the resources section for you to use. If you're ready to start improving your profitability, you can reach us anytime at education@bpaa.com. As we wrap up another edition of the Profit Break, remember that when your focus is on growing people, people will grow your business. This episode, as well as all previous Profit Break episodes, are available 24/7 for you and your team at bowlinguniversity.net. Plus, new episodes are available every month, so mark your calendar, watch your email, and join us on Facebook to hear about the latest episodes. Until then, I'm John Karabatsis, and do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. We'll see you next time.